One of my white belts was talking to me yesterday after the fundamentals class, and his question that he had was, how can I get rid of the hesitation when I'm training? So his problem is he'll see the opportunity to execute the techniques, but then when he actually tries to, he feels kind of hamstrung, right? He can't pull the trigger. He wants to go for it, but he can't. So this is a problem I know I dealt with a lot as a white belt. I was terrible from my back, so I was always worried about giving up position, and so I never really wanted to go for the submission. I would hang on top for as long as I could, but I didn't want to go for a submission because I'd end up on my back if I messed up. Or from my back, I would be afraid to go for the armbar or the triangle or whatever submission I was trying to attempt because I was afraid that the guy was going to pass my guard. I'm going to give you guys 3 tips to deal with hesitation and how to eliminate that hesitation. So the first thing you want to do, guys, is you want to drill. Taking a technique and then drilling that move hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of times. And what that's going to do is that's going to develop muscle memory. So when your body is presented with the opportunity to use a submission, use a sweep, or whatever the move is, by drilling the move, the muscle memory is improved and your body takes less time to recall that technique, to gather up all the muscles that are necessary to recruit all those muscles and then execute this movement, right? So by shortening that time, you're able to see it, recognize it, and then boom, take advantage of it. You're sort of doing the move before you're even thinking about doing the move. If you're staring at the option to do the move, a lot of times that's too late. And so by drilling the technique a lot, I mean a lot, guys, not like a couple times before class, I'm talking at least hundreds and hundreds of times, right? You're going to be able to hit these techniques because the muscle memory is going to be improved and you're just going to feel much more comfortable with that technique. So that's going to help kill the hesitation. If you're new to drilling, what I would say to do is take a technique that you want to use, take a technique that you are having trouble using, right? And drill that technique at least 200 times, no less. Start with 200 and work your way up. And I know that for some of you guys, you don't have the option to, come in and just drill all the time. So it can be tough, but think about adding some extra drilling time either before class, before class gets started, maybe drilling a little bit after class ends. If you guys have an open mat, that's a perfect time to come in with one of your buddies and drill for, an hour or so and get a lot of repetitions in, and that'll make a huge impact on your game. Next tip that I want to give you is roll with your less experienced training partners with a purpose. When you roll with a lower belt, what do you really get out of smashing that person? You really don't get much other than like an ego boost, right? Oh yeah, I'm tough, right? Big deal. You can get a lot more from your training partners, especially those less experienced ones, if you say, okay, what is a technique that I would like to improve? What is an area of my game that I would like to improve? Let's use those weak or undeveloped parts of my game against this person. So say for instance, you're a blue belt rolling with a, younger white belt, someone that they can't touch you if you don't want them to. Let's say your side control needs work. Put your legs up, give them a little bit of a defense, right? And let them pass your guard. And then when they get there, let them get into a nasty side control position and then work for the escape from there. And what that's going to do is 1, you're giving them a chance to develop their own game and giving them a chance to engage. And 2, you are developing a part of your game that is underdeveloped, which is going to be beneficial to you, much more beneficial to you than just simply smashing the person. Maybe you have a submission that you want to develop. It can be very, very nerve-wracking, right? When you're up against someone that you're going tit for tat with and taking that chance to go for the submission. When you go with someone that you can beat in the back of your head, you can take those chances a lot easier because you're like, well, if I lose position, big deal. I know I can get out of this. And the cool part about that is that the more that you get used to taking chances against lower belts or less experienced training partners, the more and more you develop a comfort with doing that. So then when you roll with someone that's a higher level person or someone that's right at your same level, you can just do it because it's become second nature to you. So the last tip that I'm going to give you is give yourself a mental pep talk. I know this sounds a little funny, but this is something that's really helpful. When you get ready to step on the mat, just remind yourself, look, opportunities will present themselves. I'm going to take the chance today. When that arm comes up and I have a chance to go for it, I'm going to go for it today because I'm not going to get better, 1, by not trying it, and 2, what's the worst thing that happens? The worst thing that happens is that person rolls up on top of you and then you have to escape and then you're going to get better at your escapes. Or let's say that they get on top of you and they smash you and they submit you. Well, then you slap hands and you do it again, you press the reset button. It's a game. So you can't get upset with failure because if you're afraid to fail, then this is the wrong sport for you. And it's tough too, because again, that's the way that we validate our success. Did I submit the guys? Did I execute the techniques that I was doing successfully? And if you don't, a lot of times you can walk out of the gym as you feel like a failure, even though you didn't fail. Part of what we're doing in here is developing our ability to take chances, developing our toughness, our mental resolve, our ability to believe in ourselves, and just developing our ability to sort of fight with all the crazy stuff that goes on in our head. Because for me, I know that when I started jiu-jitsu, I was a young kid, and I would get so angry, and I would get like afraid, and like all these other things would go on when I'm rolling, right? I'd be afraid to take the chance for the submission or the armbar. I would be angry that some guy was smashing my face on the mat, and all these emotions are going through my head, and you have to sort of just bottle that up and control it, because it's not going to do you any good. So when you guys are rolling, understand that that's part of the game, right? The part of doing jiu-jitsu is embracing the grind and just taking those chances. And if you get smashed afterwards, so what? So guys, those are 3 tips that you can use to help deal with the hesitation that you might have on the mat. I hope they help. They've helped me a lot over the years, and they've helped my students. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, please leave them below. And if you guys like the video, please subscribe and check out my Instagram. I do some drills on the Instagram videos, and I put up a sort of like a drilling video every Saturday. So if you guys like those, check them out.